Welcome back. Today we're skipping the absolute basics and jumping straight into the deep end of one of history's most fascinating enigmas. We're talking about why the Nephilim remain the ultimate mystery when it comes to hybrid origins. We're going to map out exactly how today's top research channels are breaking down and honestly hotly debating the bizarre genealogy of these ancient giants.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our entire journey today really kicks off with one simple yet incredibly complex question. Where did the Nephilim actually come from? This question happens to be the title of a massive hit from the Bible Animations channel, and it hooks us instantly, right? Because it points a giant spotlight at a huge blank spot in our standard historical narratives about hybrid lineages.
And to really grasp the scale of the intrigue here, just take a look at how this whole topic is framed. Giants of the Bible, the Nephilim, and the secret hidden by the church. That incredibly provocative title comes straight from the Black and White Bible channel. By calling it a secret hidden by the church, the creators are just plunging us right into the heart of the mystery. Whether you look at this as literal history or some kind of symbolic mythology, the story of these beings is treated as a suppressed truth, a hidden reality about hybrid origins just waiting to be uncovered.
Section 1. Bí ẩn về Nephilim.
Understanding the enigma.
So, looking across all our source material, the definition of the Nephilim goes way beyond the basic giants you might remember from Sunday school lore. These channels focus heavily on their nature as a total anomaly. We're talking about a highly debated hybridization that sits really uncomfortably right between spiritual entities and earthly beings. They basically represent a blending of different realms, and that idea deeply fascinates modern researchers and drives so much of the conversation online today.
Section 2. Bí mật bị che giấu, a history suppressed.
Which brings us to this incredibly bold declaration from the Bible Animations channel. They state, "Theologians call this heresy. I think they're wrong." Honestly, this quote is absolutely pivotal for our explainer today. Mainstream academia and traditional theology usually shy away from taking hybrid giant beings literally, often tossing the whole discussion into the heresy bin. But these digital platforms, they're pushing back hard. They aren't treating the hybrid origins of the Nephilim as some forbidden topic, but rather as a fascinating, unsolved mystery that deserves rigorous, serious analysis.
And man, the public demand for this kind of analysis is just staggering. Take the channel Unraveling the Scriptures, for example. They recently polled their massive audience, over 500,000 subscribers, asking what cinematic movie they should make next. And one of the top contenders? Nephilim, the hidden story of the Bible movie 2026. The fact that this specific topic beat out standard biblical figures for a full-on cinematic adaptation proves just how deeply this mystery of hybrid origins resonates with people today. It's huge.
Section 3. Dấu vết người khổng lồ. Tracking the giants across YouTube.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the exact same ancient mystery can be approached from completely different angles to help us understand it better. On one hand, you've got Bible animations using hand-drawn visuals to break down the complex mythological and theological debates. But then, on the flip side, you have channels like Black and White Bible and Unraveling the Scriptures who treat the subject with the absolute gravity of a documentary expose or a cinematic historical epic. Put them together, and they give us this amazing comprehensive toolkit for analyzing the whole enigma.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the specific phrasing Bible Animations uses in one of their titles. God created a superhuman for one purpose. When looking into the Nephilim, some sources theorize that these giant beings weren't just random anomalies or accidents. The idea of ancient superhumans roaming the earth adds this really thrilling layer to the investigation. It suggests their hybrid origins were actually part of a highly specific, perhaps even violent, engineered design.
Section 4. Thế giới trước cơn lụt. The era of the giants.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, because it's a wild ride. We start at the beginning, the creation era, but as we move forward into the pre-flood era, bam, we see the sudden appearance of the Nephilim. They completely dominate this specific window of time in the ancient texts. And then we hit a hard stop with the Great Flood in the days of Noah. Looking at this timeline, it's pretty clear that the existence of these hybrid giants is inextricably linked to the moments right before the greatest cataclysm in all of ancient lore. But what was that pre-flood world actually like? Well, drawing from the Gospel Scriptures narrated by the ambient audio channel The Sleep Bible, we hear these words from Matthew about the days of Noah. In the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. I find this passage so fascinating. It paints this eerie contrast, right? You have normal, completely oblivious daily routines happening right alongside this population of hybrid giants, all while an apocalyptic judgment is literally looming right over their heads.
And that brings us to a massive documentary collaboration between Black and White Bible and the Ex-Bible Files, which they titled The Shocking Truth About Noah's Flood You Never Knew. The narrative these investigations put forward suggests that the flood wasn't just some random, crazy weather event. It was a direct, targeted response to the intense corruptions of the pre-flood world, and chief among those corruptions, the unchecked proliferation of the Nephilim. Basically, the flood is framed as the ultimate reset button on a hybrid experiment that had gone completely out of control.
Section 5. Lời giải trong nguồn gốc. The hybrid mystery unveiled.
So, the crucial point is synthesizing exactly what all these platforms are telling us. Here are the main origin theories presented across our sources. First up, their true origin is viewed as a secret deliberately hidden by early church institutions. Second, they're seen as the result of a controversial merging of different realms. Literally, a hybridization of divine or angelic beings with earthly ones. Third, there's a theory they were beings engineered for a very specific, though heavily misunderstood or dark, purpose. And finally, just talking about these hybrid lineages remains a topic that mainstream scholars frequently label as theological heresy, which, let's be honest, only fuels even more independent investigation.
The Nephilim really do represent the ultimate historical anomaly. They are a puzzle piece of hybrid origins that completely challenges conventional theology and history alike. But if the truth of these ancient giants has been obscured for this long, it leaves us with one lingering, highly provocative thought. What other ancient historical mysteries might still be hidden out there, just waiting for us to uncover them next? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep asking those big questions and keep exploring.